Hey everyone, and welcome to the live. I am so happy that you guys are here. Where are you from? Where are you watching from? I'd love to know. I'm in the UK. I'm from the UK, so we're streaming from UK. I'm just waiting for you guys just to turn up. I know there's a little bit of a delay. That's why. But today, my friends, today we are talking, oh goodness, we are talking about toxic expectations in relationships. So it's a bit of a twofold, like this bit of a twofold that we're going to be talking about. Hello, Bruno. Hello. Thank you for the hearts. Today it's twofold because we're talking about expectations of like when you have expectations in a relationship. Hello, Lucinda. But also when the narcissist has those expectations of you. And AB, hello from Dubai. Where are you guys watching from? You know, I always like to know. I like to know where what everything's going on. How has your week been? How's everyone's week been this week? Hello, Michelle from Sydney, all the way from Sydney. I bet it's so early for you. Thank you for being here. Michaela, sorry, not Michelle, Michaela. I'm sorry, my dear. Sharon from England. We got Chessery from New Mexico. We got Jeff. Hello, Jeff from Chicago. Caitlin from Hungary. Wench from Glasgow. So we've got quite a few of you here. So we're all from all over the world and we're all on different time zones. So I appreciate you guys. I appreciate that you are here. This is great. We got Gayleen from Ohio. Do you know what, my friends? I'm really sorry if I say your names wrong. Like, obviously, I'm trying really hard here. We got Tordburn from Sweden. We got Emmy from the Philippines. Oh, wow. All the way from the Philippines. So, like, Australia, Philippines, it must be like so early for you guys. And Dr. Mani, hello. Hello, thank you so much. Do you know what? I got your email literally. I just saw it before I went live, and you've won. You've won. This is amazing. Congratulations, Mani. I'm going to reply to your email. It won't be today, it'll be tomorrow because it's going to be quite late when I finish. But that's huge congratulations. Guys, if we've got Dr. Mani's got beautiful books, really informative books. All the links are in the description box. Please do check them out. This is great for anyone who has experienced parental alienation, narcissistic abuse. Perhaps maybe you want to know some like terminology, some more information about it. But yeah, check the link in the description box because I've got all of Mani's books there. So Mani, thank you so much for being here on the live. Hello, Andrew we got another person from Australia. Oh my goodness, guys. Thank you. I'm so grateful for you guys to be here because I know it's so early for you, but I don't know what time, but I know it's early. So I'm grateful for you guys. We've got Steve M, Yang, hello. And my angel Alfie. Hello, my dear. How are you all? How are you all doing today? It was a beautiful day weather-wise here in the UK. Hello, Gucci Loafers from Notting Hill. Oh, I'm glad I've been able to help you. That's amazing. Oh, Michaela, it's 7 a.m. So it's 7. So yes, goodness, it's early. So I hope you're drinking your coffee, Michaela, or a cup of tea whilst you're watching this. And for any of you, get yourselves a drink, sit down. We're going to unpack all of this. We're gonna work through this. And yeah, we're gonna learn. We're gonna move forward. And that's what these lives are about, is to help you guys to be able to understand it and be able to move forward. We're not gonna stay stuck. Okay. We don't do this. We don't do these things. We don't stay stuck in a certain mindset. We've always got to keep moving forward. Life is fluid. It's all about moving forward. And we've got Christian from Hungary. Thank you for being here. Dr. Mani Hill, our book, The True Deceit False Love series, you wrote the introduction. I do remember, my dear. Yes. Just won as a finalist of the 2024 Best Books, an award sponsored by the American Book Fest. No, it's congratulations to you, Dr. Mani, but thank you. Oh, bless you. to you. You wrote the book. Please do check it out. It's in the description box, my friends. Please. So it's won 2024 Best Books Award. That's just amazing. That is absolutely amazing. My angel Alfie, yeah, we're not going to be stuck. We don't do stuckness. We don't do stuckness. We've got to keep it moving. We've got to keep moving forward. That's right. Barbara from Pakistan, thank you for being here. You're so far away. Bless you. And sweepstakes. Hello, Oxford. How are you, my friends? I hope that you're doing well. 4 yellow hearts. Thank you. Okay. So we've got quite a few of you here today. Right. So today we're talking about expectations. Hello, Charles from North Dakota. So we're talking about, yeah, toxic expectations in relationships. And the reason why this subject came about, I went away to this beautiful spa over the weekend, and we noticed that there was this couple. They weren't like um they weren't fighting or anything like that. It wasn't any of that. Maria, hello, my friends. How are you, my dear? How are you? And Chris, hello from Kharkiv. I think I've said that right. I'm not sure. Anyway, so um yeah, we were at this beautiful spa, and there was this couple, and they were bickering. They were bickering, and it gave us the idea to do this this topic, because look, we all have expectations. We all have expectations, or we all have an idea how things should work out, how they should be. But in a way, as I was listening to this couple, it was quite funny, but it wasn't funny, like what was going on. Um, do you know what it was, my friends? They were just nasty to one another because they wanted certain things from each other, but instead of being able to communicate their needs, they just had these expectations that this person has to behave in a certain way. And I think that's where it becomes quite damaging in a way, and you ruin relationships like that. Think about it. The narcissist or the toxic person in your life, they wanted certain things from you. Okay, and maybe you weren't ready to give that, or maybe that wasn't something, what you had in mind or what you necessarily wanted to do. But this person wanted that from you, and instead of being able to communicate it and say it to you in a way that was, I don't know, in a way that was um, open communication, there was no judgment, you know, in a way that was expressed that you could understand, or maybe you could hear them in a certain way. But no, it's when this person wants something from you and demands it. There's an expectation, there's a demand for it, and maybe you're not ready to do that. And I think that's what I really wanted to kind of look at, is expectations that we have. And it's not a toxic thing to have, but there is we have to understand this in a way that is congruent to us. Do you know what I mean? Like in a way that makes sense. Relationships are tough, right? Whether they're toxic or they're not toxic, okay? Whether they're healthy or toxic. But sometimes our expectations make them tougher, or someone else's expectations of us makes this whole dynamic really tough. And I mean, have you ever, and what happens is, do you ever find yourself feeling disappointed or frustrated with the other person because they didn't meet your expectations, or they didn't behave in a way that you wanted them to? And expectations can sneak into our relationships, our friendships, our partnerships without us even realizing it. So this is where it's going to cause us to have more um, awareness about what's going on. So really today in this live stream, I wanted to talk more about toxic expectations and how you can identify them. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in a romantic sense. It can be in a friendship. It can be at work. So when you don't know, or when you don't understand something, that person wants something from you. But if you're not willing to give that, if you're not understanding this, that's when it can become an issue, right? So what we are going to look at is how to create healthier dynamics. And also, so the first part, I want us to look at expectations per se, but I'm in the second part of this live, I really wanted to look at how the narcissist also, what expectations they have of us, and how, even not being with the narcissist or even like out of that toxic relationship, how it then can linger, in the way that we interact with other individuals. And by the end of this, okay, by the end of our live stream, you'll have actionable steps to start transforming those expectations into something that is more healthier. Okay. So that's what we're going to be doing. That's what we're going to be doing today. Um, oh, I love that, Dr. Marnie. I've heard it said expectations are resentments waiting to be filled. Yes, absolutely, possibly, yes. Resentments waiting to be filled. So it's almost like you expect this person to give you something, or you expect this person to behave in a certain way. And expectations can become toxic. Absolutely, absolutely. Bruno says, honesty, respect, and communication about everything that is on the mind. Peace of mind is non negotiable. Exactly. Exactly. Mr. Anderson says, my narcissist ex wife even told me I needed a haircut about 8 months after the divorce. Now it's about a foot down my back whilst in a tail. I heard that throughout the 24-year marriage. Yeah, exactly. So it's almost becomes like you've got to conform, isn't it? It's like you've got to conform, you've got to behave in a certain way. That's what expectations are. And that's why it ruins so many things. And like I was saying, this couple that was bickering over the weekend, I'm not saying that they were narcissistic or they were toxic in any way. This can come about in relationships, like which starts off with every intention, starts off healthy, but then over time, it becomes a different dynamic. So I'm going to look at why this actually happens. Why something that is healthy can turn into something that is toxic. Okay. So let's look at what expectations are. Expectations are rigid. They're unrealistic, and they're harmful beliefs that we hold about another person, usually our partner, our friend, or our family, how they should behave, how they should feel, or how they should think. And where this becomes toxic, or where this becomes an issue, is because they often stem from insecurities, past experiences, or social pressures. So, for example, expecting your partner to always know what you need without communication. Okay. I mean, how many times did the narcissist do that to you? How many times did they actually expect you to know, expect you to be able to fulfill them in some way without them even telling you? I mean, literally, are we a mind reader? Are we a psychic? So can you see how that then becomes an issue? Not be because in a healthy relationship, it's all about communication. It's all about communicating your needs. All right. But without communication, how is the other person supposed to know? Another expectation can be believing that your partner should never make mistakes or that they'll never hurt you. I mean, that's completely unrealistic, isn't it? Of course, you are going to get hurt. Of course, there are mistakes that are going to happen, but it's about how you deal with them. For example, if we take this back to the narcissistic relationship, think about it. What was that? What was all of that about? They all they expected, okay, is for you to keep feeding them, you to keep giving them validation. That's what they wanted. So it's always you giving, it's always you, the expectation of you giving, you making them feel better. Okay, you having to support them, you never making a mistake. And if you make a mistake, you're going to get punished. And this also happens in not only just toxic relationships, but in, as I said, like healthy relationships that start off like that. If you make a mistake, you get punished or you get shouted at. No one, you know, Unless they are completely narcissistic, completely toxic, no one's coming at you to hurt you. We all make mistakes. We're human. We're learning along the way. But there's certain people out there that have no compassion, like no patience whatsoever, no understanding. You know, another expectation could be expecting constant happiness or excitement in a relationship. Well, that's that's not going to happen. That's more of a fairy tale. But again, if someone is toxic, they're the ones that are going to expect this. A narcissist will expect constant admiration and validation without reciprocating. Yeah. That's an expectation of a narcissist. They'll believe that they should never be held accountable or criticized. That's an expectation. Narcissists expect their partner to meet every emotional need, regardless of how unreasonable or one-sided it is. So as you can see, expectations become toxic when a narcissist or a toxic individual is not able to have empathy for you, not able to understand, not able to put themselves in your shoes. I'm going to ask you guys a question. Have you ever experienced with a narcissist someone who has demanded constant praise or treated like you are never good enough? Drop your experience into the chat. Has that ever happened for you? Has that ever been a thing? Barbara says, I feel like I had toxic expectations for my relationship, or that's how I was made to feel. Yeah, that's a really good point, actually, because when we're in these dynamics, when we're in these situations, we sometimes do end up having unrealistic expectations of another person, wanting certain things, expecting certain things to happen. Okay, because you feel like you have to have that because your needs are not getting satisfied. So, absolutely, for sure. MH says the only thing which is constant is change. Absolutely. Andrew says, I gave until there was nothing left to give. All I wanted was to be appreciated, and what I got was abuse. Bless you, Andrew. I completely understand. I mean, this is exactly what this is like. You know, you keep on giving, giving. That's the expectation, isn't it? To keep giving more. But when is enough? Where is that threshold? And again, this is all about understanding that actually it doesn't matter how much you give, doesn't matter what you do, it is never going to be enough. That person is always going to be wanting more. So where do you draw the line? And it really is about you drawing the line. Okay. It really is about you. And I think for a lot of us, because we have been put in these dynamics, put in these situations, it makes it really difficult then to actually ascertain whether we should or we have the confidence to. You know, it becomes very difficult and very challenging because we then actually don't know, or we don't feel that we've got the confidence to be able to do that. Yeah, that's right, Foreign 99. Give me your soul. They expect you to give them your soul. It's true because enough is never enough, right? It's always more, always more. And that can you see how you're not prepared to give more, but this person wants more? And this is where it becomes damaging, isn't it? This becomes damaging because you are constantly giving. Mirror says expectation of a shiny new toy. Reality not as shiny as they thought. Yeah, but when are they going to give? So it's about you constantly giving, but when are they going to give? So why do narcissists have these expectations? Why are they like this? Does anyone know? Does anyone kind of like click it? Why are they like this? And it's not just you. Don't think that it's just you. They do this to everybody. Basically, my friends, narcissists they don't have a sense of self. They have a fragile ego. Despite like they come across as really confident, they know what they're doing, they feel like on top of the world and they show everyone that they're doing good. This is false. It's an inflated self-image, which requires constant feeding. Okay. They have to be fed. And that I mean validation. That I mean attention on that person. Okay. And that can come in many forms, whether they are getting it like in it, from other people in front of them, or maybe they're getting it online. There's different ways. All right, but this is what they need. This is what they need, that constant feeding of their ego, because one comment, two comments, three comments is never enough. They need it constantly. Okay, because they have this negative narrative in their mind, and that is just going round and round in their mind. And in order for them to be distracted, they're getting this constant validation and attention from another person, they're loving it. My friends, they're loving it, because then they don't have to listen to that negative self-talk, which is why they have such high expectations on others. And if we take it, say, for example, even this person isn't narcissistic, a lot of this, the psychology behind it, a lot of this does stem from um, early childhood experiences. And wait, hold on. And they're shaped also by our upbringing. So if we saw our parents or our caregivers give us unrealistic models of relationships in our families or on TV, we might internalize that. And I think a lot of people have done. So it's kind of like, I don't know, maybe have any of you heard, that the expectation or societal expectation, yeah, by the time you're 30, you should have been married, you should have a house, you should have a car, two children and a dog. For example, by the time that you're 30, you should have made it, you should know where what you're doing in your career. But a lot of people don't know. A lot of us don't actually know what we want to do. A lot of people at that age, we're still kind of developing. We're still trying to kind of make our way in the world. And it's almost like expectations are like a set of rules that people need to follow, but it's not about that. Media and social pressure, okay, can make us think that we basically should have like a picture perfect relationships or picture perfect lives, especially social media right now. With everything that's going on, this is so much more enforced. So, you know, if we look at this, for example, in toxic relationships, the narcissist will always want you to conform. They'll always want you to be a certain way or to do something in a certain way. But realistically, you can't, because their expectations of you are unrealistic. And then the other reason why they do this is because they have personal insecurities. Sometimes, or most of the time, their insecurities cause them to expect too much, thinking that it will fill a void within them. This is what happens. And it all stems from this childhood belief that we should be a certain way or something should happen a certain way. Oh, Nick, thank you so much for your lovely comment. Bless you. Oh, Nick, thank you. Oh, that's such a lovely comment, Gucci Loaf. There's so many amazing people in here. There is. Honestly, you guys are amazing. Um, Warms my heart and makes me realize that there are beautiful souls in the world. There is. There is. Not everyone is toxic. I know the majority of people. Hello, Bonnie, and heart to you too. Sorry, I'm going to do it 1 minute. Bonnie. Barbara says, do covert narcissists actually tell you their expectations? All I experienced was stonewalling. It's not that they tell you, they expect you to know. They expect you to read their minds and know. I think that's what the issue is here, is that they expect you to be able to mind read and know what they want. I mean, really? Mira says everybody is narcissistic at times before diagnosing. Check it isn't something going on in their lives. That's a good point. That's a good point. Bruno says bottomless vessels of attention and drama. The moment your gut feeling says that you are worth more, you are. Run, dump, block, never look back. Thank you so much, Bruno. You are absolutely right. You are absolutely right. Charles says, and my wife got diagnosed with ADHD and she blamed that for her being overwhelmed during conversations. Charles, that's not how you get ADHD. So you're absolutely right. Like, you don't get ADHD like that by being overwhelmed in conversations. That's not how, unfortunately, that's not how that diagnosis works. So how do you recognize toxic expectations? How do you recognize this in another person? So I'm going to give you three things that you need to look out for. Or and I'm going to and these are going to be statements or questions that I'm going to ask you, right? So do they or did they become angry when you don't immediately fulfill their demands or you didn't fulfill their demands? And that's a telltale sign. Someone becoming angry, someone becoming irritated because they want you to behave in a certain way. They want you to do something in a certain way. Do they expect you to prioritize their needs over your own, no matter what? So, this is about you stepping to the side, having no identity, just serving this person. Do they expect you to prioritize your needs over your own? I think a lot of you will probably answer yes to that one. And did they insist that you should always agree with them, validate their opinions? So it's basically agreeing with them all the time. Have a think about that. Have a think about that because do you find that in any other dynamics, any other relationships in your life where this could be a thing? Because when someone wants you to behave in a certain way, that's when it becomes controlling. Ultimately, this type of behavior is control, is manipulation. It puts pressure on you, doesn't it? Holding these types of expectations puts unnecessary pressure on you, on and on the other person. So the two of you can make it feel like you're constantly walking on eggshells. So it might be that you have expectations of someone or the narcissist had expectations of you. But what happens is it puts this unnecessary pressure for that person to behave in a certain way. And I would say that a lot of this is to do with manipulation. And a narcissist would do that. It also puts pressure on you because you're constantly feeling let down. The narcissist is letting you down. And this takes away the joy of you being present in the moment or even in this relationship. So it made it very difficult for you to be yourself. Who's eating pizza with tuna? What's going on? Are we all eating food? I don't want pizza with tuna. It's not very nice. Mira says, for me, it's having my own standards and boundaries, not putting up with the drama BS. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Thank you, Gucci loafers. Yeah. So this is about putting boundaries in place, okay? Where this person is expecting too much of you. This person's wanting you to behave in a certain way. Yeah, and you can't. Of course, you're not going to win an argument, Mr. Anderson. Argument in that marriage over keeping smoke detectors up in the house. True story. And it's little things, isn't it? It's the little things. It doesn't even necessarily have to be big things. But like I said, like over time, this does wear you down. And you do feel like you literally are walking on eggshells. It does feel like that. And it takes away the joy of life. It takes away so much from you. You do feel like you're just never good enough. And think about it. This has dire effects on your confidence, on your self esteem. It wears you down. You just feel like you're just basically not good enough ever. AB, yeah, they do. They cut all means of communication if you don't do what they want. So again, you don't conform, you don't do what they want you to do, so you get punished. Ultimately, that's what it is. So it's about them controlling your responses, controlling the way that you behave, the way that you see things. It's all gaslighting, it's all manipulation. That's what expectations are. And I know, look, all of us at some point in our lives did have expectations or do have expectations of certain things. And one thing that I will say to you is this: we can't control another person, nor should we want to, because that other person has free will. Okay. The other person has free will, and that's okay. You see, with narcissists, they are unable to see past that. Okay. They're unable to understand that another person has free will. All they think is that they are the ones that have got to control. Everything's got to go their way. But it's not about that. Life isn't about adjusting, manipulating, controlling, making sure that a certain things happen a certain way. That's not what life is about. Because look what it does to you. Look what it does to you. It suffocates you. You're walking on eggshells. You don't feel good enough. It's never a validating experience for you. It is for the narcissist because they're making sure that their needs are met. But what about you? You are forgotten in the meantime. So it's almost the expectation part of it. It's almost like someone is taking what isn't rightfully theirs, meaning that they are taking from you what you're not willing to give. So they're actually stealing from you, right? They are actually stealing from you. Peter says, I only want to know she treats her new guy the same like she did me. That's all. Peter, I can say to you that she probably is, because people like that don't change. They don't have any interest in change. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I'm probably thinking that she hasn't done any introspection or any therapeutic work to be able to understand herself or to bring about self actualization and self realization. So, actually, for her, changing and being different, and I feel like by that you mean um, healthy or behave in a different way, it's not going to happen because she hasn't done any introspection. So why would she behave in a different way? They literally just do the same thing in a different relationship. That's ultimately what it is. So we've got 77 of you here and 36 likes. Guys, hit the like button because this can help someone. This can help someone who might be going through this right now. So do hit the like button. Thank you, guys. I've got this chamomile tea. It's so good. It's so nice, so relaxing, my friends, so relaxing. Yes. So, yes, Eldon says both mental and physical. Absolutely. 499, grandiose, a conviction of great talent. My boss may have this. So sad. Bless you that you've got to go to, yeah, you got to be at work with this every single day. Power trips in the workplace, so stressful and depleting. Oh, Bonnie. Yeah. I worked in a narcissistic. Yes, Bonnie, go and have some chamomile tea. Honestly, it's so relaxing. And you can be here watching the live stream as well. Thank you for the likes, guys. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Um, it's hard when it's in the workplace. I completely understand. I had about two or three workplaces where it was exactly that. And it's harder, I feel like, in a workplace because again, this is work. You're trying to prove, yourself. You're trying to work as hard as you can. Obviously, a lot of us don't want to stay in the same role. We want to like move up the ladder. But it's really hard when you have these expectations placed on you and you don't even know what they are. You don't know how to make headway and move forward. So, and that can be also really depleting as well. Like you said, Bonnie, it can make you feel when you're, especially when we work in MH, mental health. Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree. And I think also in in mental health settings, I know like talking from personal experience, there is a lot of that. There is a lot of expectation placed on you, and it's almost expected that you're doing two or three people's work. And this is where mistakes can happen. And this can cause that there can be real dire kind of consequences when mistakes are made, particularly like in mental health. I mean, in any setting, but particularly in mental health, that can become really challenging, and it's just it's just challenging, and there's no appreciation as well. So Bonnie, if you're working in mental health, hats off to you, my friend. Like, oh my dear, it's hard work, and I do know it's really taxing work working with mental health. I love it, don't get me wrong, I love it, but it isn't something that I could do, like long term. This is why, when I was working in the mental health hospitals, um there was a lot of narcissism in that, in those settings, and there was a lot of expectations for you to fulfill. It's hard. It is hard, but that's where you've got to draw the line. Do you know what I mean? Like you've got to be able to put boundaries in place. And I understand that at work it can be a challenging aspect to be able to do that, because again, you want to prove yourself. It's your work. You want to do well. You want to show off your talent. You want to do good. And I get that. Why shouldn't you have that for yourself? But yeah, expectations at work are challenging for sure. Hulk smash tea likes. Yes, foreign nine. Yes. Who else has got a cup of tea? And we're here on the live. I don't know what it is. There's something soothing about herbal tea. I don't know. Chamomile for me. I love it. I absolutely love it. So cheers, everyone. Yes, Sean, you're absolutely right. Trying to communicate is like going around in circles and talking to a brick wall. Yeah, pointless. Completely pointless. Yes. Oh, that's really good, Alexander. I'm really glad that your psychotherapist was able to help you. That's really good because it's important, especially like if you're doing trauma work, it is really important to find someone that you trust, someone that you can relate to, someone that you feel that that can help, because honestly, trauma is another level. Like it's really challenging to be able to, work through that. So it's really important that you have someone that basically you trust. So the other aspect of this, I wanted to look at the damage narcissists cause with their expectations in relationships, and how these expectations create conflict. So for example, imagine your narcissistic partner expects you to drop everything to focus on them whenever they feel slighted, whenever they feel angry, whenever there's something that's gone wrong. If you don't do that, they accuse you of being unsupportive, manipulative, or unloving. This creates constant tension. And over time, constantly trying to meet someone's demands can leave you feeling exhausted, unappreciated, and trapped in a dynamic that you don't want to be in. But that's the thing, my friends. These relationships are to trap you. And that's what they do, don't they? They trap you into this dynamic of you constantly giving, you constantly supporting, you constantly being loving, compassionate, understanding. And that's where you then start to feel exhausted, unappreciated, and trapped because you can't be yourself. You have to literally focus on the other person and make sure that they are happy, AKA the narcissist. Make sure that they are happy. Make sure that their needs are met. What about you? What about your needs? Are they being met? Have they been met? Have they even been recognized? Have you even been seen in this relationship? And this is where it's an issue. Because when you're in a relationship with a narcissist, these toxic expectations can chip away at your self esteem. And I'm sure that they have done for a lot of you. Okay, your confidence is shattered. Okay, you don't feel good in yourself. You start to feel like anything that you do is just never enough. And they're not grateful at all. It's like they don't see you, they don't appreciate you. Um, and you can never do enough for them. Or worse, that what makes this worse is that they see you as flawed and they make sure that you know about it. They make sure that you never feel good because they're always putting you down. Even though you might feel a little bit better, they put you down. Even though you might be getting a little bit of validation, they still put you down. So, the real impact that toxic expectations have is that it ruins your confidence, it ruins your self esteem. You feel flawed. And even out of these dynamics, even at the end of these relationships, you're not in these relationships, this can have like profound effects. This can make you feel like you are just unworthy as a human being. You don't know yourself, you don't see yourself, you don't feel like yourself. And this is the issue, isn't it, my friends? This is exactly the issue. And this is why all I'm saying, my friends, always the antidote to this or the remedy to this is to come back to yourself, is to get to know yourself, is to work on yourself. Okay? Because when you've got someone who is so toxic, when you have someone who is narcissistic, they are constantly going to take from you. There's this constant need for validation, this constant need for stimulation to keep giving. Well, when is enough? Who gets to decide when it's enough? You know who? You. You get to decide when it is enough. Because how are you going to let this person do this to you? And that's what you've got to realize is you need to be able to stick up for yourself. You need to be able to put protection in place. That's all about boundaries. You're going to keep letting this person take from you. And that's where the issue is. Even, let's say, even in a work setting, there's all of this that's going on. There's all of this that they keep taking from you. But what actually is your role? What actually is your job role? What are you meant to be doing? That's what you need to figure out and stick to the plan. And it's the same, you can say the same in relationship. What is your role? Stick to the plan. And if you're not liking it, if it's not working for you, leave. Don't feel trapped in a dynamic that isn't working for you. Listen, you're the only one that's going to be able to get yourself out of this. No one else can. It is ultimately you. 499 says consequence of your boundaries being broken. Back them up like your life depends on it. Absolutely. Bonnie, I'm so glad that you voiced your boundaries today. This is so important. The thing is, people who don't value you or respect you are never going to agree with you voicing or you expressing your boundaries or what it is that you want or your needs. They're never going to do that because they don't care. They don't have they don't have respect for you. So they don't really care. They're just going to want you to keep giving. Bruno says the moment you walk on eggshells to feel accepted, it's time to take distance. It's is my vision now. I'll never let someone play with my self-love. I'm really glad, Bruno. That's it. Someone who does that doesn't respect you. Someone who has those expectations of you doesn't respect you. Mira Mira says, sad truth, a narcissist can only find the weak, but once had one, never weak again. This is very true because we work on ourselves, we understand ourselves, we do so much for ourselves. That is what is important, is that we are never weak again. If we do the work on ourselves, we understand how to combat this, how to overcome this, then we are never going to be weak again, are we? We're going to know. We're going to understand. We're going to know what we need to do for ourselves. So, how do you recognize and break free from someone's expectations? Well, ultimately, expectations, that's all about manipulation, isn't it? If you really think about it, it's all to do with manipulation. Let's take gaslighting as an example. Narcissists will use gaslighting to make you question your reality. For example, they may tell you that your boundaries are unreasonable or that you're being selfish and that you're not prioritizing their needs. Now, let's look at that statement. How are boundaries unreasonable? Boundaries are a set of methods or things that you hold true to your heart, that you want someone else to adhere to because you need to protect yourself. So how are your boundaries being selfish? You see, that's a judgment. A narcissist will put judgment. If someone doesn't want to understand your boundaries or they don't respect your boundaries, they will see that as a judgment. And that's all about you not giving the narcissist the priority for them. Basically, you're not validating them, you're not giving them the attention. So that's why they will punish you. That's why narcissists will gaslight you and make you question your own reality. They could also use emotional blackmail. So they may also use guilt to manipulate you, saying things that if you really love me, you would do this for me. Everyone else supports me. Why don't you? And I mean, how many times have you probably heard this? If you really loved me, you'd do this for me. If you really loved me, you wouldn't leave me. If you really loved me, you would do that. So that again, that is an expectation, that is a control, isn't it? Because you're telling that other person that if they were to do what I want you to do, then that means that you're proving how much you care about me or how much you love me. And that's not what love is about. That's a set of conditions to me. That's all about conditional love. Oh, Theo, thank you very much. Thank you. Mr. Eon, good evening to you too. No, Bruno, they don't like boundaries. You have to take care of yourself, yes, and change their true selves, always looking for a new prey like hawks. Yeah, because they don't have to work so hard. If that person is easy to manipulate, then they don't have to work so hard to be able to get validated and get attention. So that's what it's ultimately about. That's why they have so many people, in the background, because then they don't have to work so hard. They don't have to give so much energy. So ultimately, this is about respect for yourself. All right. It boils down to the fact that anyone can have expectations. Again, we can't control this person. We can't tell them to have expectations or not, but it's about whether we adhere to them, whether we agree to actually fulfill that, or do we put ourselves first and say, no, I'm not doing that. No, I'm going to put myself first. So this is about having the understanding and the realization and the discrepancy to understand what is going on here, why this person is being like this. This is about you recognizing these things. This is what is really important. Okay, is to recognize what is going on and to be able to put boundaries in place. Remember, the only reason why that person has expectations of you is because of their own uh, tough, challenging childhood experiences. So all they're doing is they are just emulating that in their world right now. Okay. They are just reenacting their childhood. That's what they're doing. Do they have any idea what they're doing? Yeah, they probably do, but I don't feel like to the same understanding that what they are doing is and how it affects you. I feel like they don't get that. They do it because they want to get their needs met. They do it because it fulfills them in some way. But in terms of them understanding it and changing, probably not. No. Yes, Bruno, people gatherers, empty meat vessels, bottomless pits of despair. But they'd rather destroy another because then that makes them feel better. That's ultimately what it's about, my friends. So narcissists, in order for them to get their needs met, they're going to gaslight you and they're going to use emotional blackmail. They're going to guilt trip you basically into conforming. That's what they do. They will make you feel guilty and manipulated into meeting their demands. And think about it. How does that make you feel? When someone says, if you really love me, you'd do that. Everyone else supports me. Why don't you? That's where it becomes really toxic. That's where it becomes really upsetting is when and again, you'd never expect it from someone that you love, someone that you trust, someone that you care about. You wouldn't expect them to be saying things like that or to be even bringing this up. Like you feel like, oh, you want to be able to give the person that you love, the one that you trust, you want to be able to give them, your all, or you want to be able to give them the validation or whatever they need. But the thing is, this is where this becomes an issue, is because it's wanted constantly. That's why it's an issue, because they constantly crave it, they constantly want it, and it becomes demanding. And you can't meet somebody's demands all the time. It's so draining. And when someone is emotionally blackmailing you, when someone is gaslighting you, making you question your own reality, how can you continue doing that? How can you continually be in such a dynamic? It makes it really difficult. And like I said, it tears down your confidence, it tears down your self esteem. So, what do you do? How do you get past this? A lot of this is about setting healthy boundaries. It's about you recognizing that this person is never going to change, that this person is constantly going to keep doing this. And boundaries, protection is really crucial when you're dealing with narcissistic and when you're dealing with toxic people. Without them, toxic expectations can completely take over your life. They're constantly going to be wanting things from you. And there's going to be no off button. You know, you do have the right to say no without feeling guilty. Even if someone expects you to drop everything for them, remind yourself that it's okay to prioritize your own needs. You can refuse to engage in emotional manipulation. Okay. When someone tries to guilt trip you, calmly but firmly state your boundary and walk away from the conversation. And again, you've got to remember that the only reason why you have to put boundaries in place is because this person is not respecting you. This person is not caring about you, about your values. They just want what's best for them. Of course, Nick, you were always the one to apologize. Of course. And Mr. Eon, at first, like special rules just for them, it's kind of quirky and cute. It makes them special. And you are only one that sees it. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. They expect so much from you. They want so much from you. TJ, to you too. Thank you. So can you see? If you're the one that has to put boundaries in place, then that person is not respecting you. Okay. Regardless whether they're narcissistic or whether they're not, they're already not respecting you. So you have to do that for yourself. No one else is going to do it for you. I'd love to say that I would be able to help you do that, but you're the one that has to realize, you're the one that has to understand what is right for you and what's not. Thank you, Mr. Eon. Yes, Guys, there's 88 of you here and only 64 likes. Guys, please do hit that like button. You know that it helps with the algorithm to get all that information out there. You don't know who's suffering at the moment, you know? Thank you, Theo. My angel Alfie, if you've never been through this, people, you'll never understand the effect it has. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Even just such a little thing like expectation. It's not a little thing. It's not a little thing. But can you see like the whole like how it affects the whole dynamic, even though you're not with that person anymore, even though you've moved on or you're trying to move on or trying to get your life back together, can you see how it has that effect on you? It's really bad, isn't it, my friends? It's really, really bad. And it causes you to question yourself, causes like, you know, it really affects your confidence, all of these things. Bruno says they don't like it when you have success. Had to play in a studio in Portugal, the Golden Voice of 2024. Days before departure, she came back and came over 4 days and ruined my trip. Oh, bless you, Bruno. See what I mean? Like, what respect was that? She didn't have any respect for you. It was all about her. It's all about her and what she wanted. And that's the thing. Well, you have to be able to recognize it and not and have the confidence to say no. Okay, if something's not working, if something feels bad, you have to be able to have the confidence to say no. And you know where that comes from, my friends? That's all about working on yourself, always building yourself up. Um, that's working on you. Get to know yourself. Take some time out. Journal. Take some time out and be with you. You know, that is what is important. You're never going to be able to get to a place where you can put boundaries in place, where you can, protect yourself if you don't know what is good for you and what's not. That's why I always say, my friends, come home to yourself. Take some time out and be with yourself. Don't be on Netflix watching TV. Do your journaling. Set like night routines, like bookend your day with like a routine in the evenings. Maybe that'll be journaling. Maybe that's meditation. Maybe that's listening to certain, I don't know, podcasts, books, whatever it is. Work on yourselves. We're constantly evolving. There's no point staying stuck. Okay. We have a growth mindset. We have to keep moving forward in life. Life is fluid all the time. So if you want change, if you're not liking something about your life right now and you want change, you're the only one that can do that. Okay. So for those of you that I don't know what my boundaries are, I don't know what they are, you know, that's where you then have to work on you. Like you have to discover what that is because everybody has different boundaries. What works for me might not work for you. That's why I'm not kind of saying, well, this boundary for me or that boundary, because mine are going to be different to yours. This is where you have to discover you. And do you know what? Do you know what, my friends? It's a beautiful journey. Come on, you're getting to know yourself. And I know that for a lot of you, you've always had to put other people first for whatever reason. Maybe that's something that you have been taught. Maybe, people pleasing. Maybe, culturally, you had to put other people first, and make sure that their needs are always met. And then look how that has set you up, now into your adulthood, how that has set you up in your adult life because look you're putting everybody else's needs before your own when actually your life is yours. Your life is about you, right? So this isn't about anyone but you, but this is about working on you, understanding what works for you, what makes you feel good. And that's why these people come into our lives, believe it or not, is to highlight this fact. Not only just that, but for us to understand ourselves, work on ourselves, do what is good for us, recognize this, recognizing this. Because if we're going around in our lives like blind, not living in the moment, always thinking about the past or what the future's going to be like, you're not living in the present. You're not being present. And what happens is you then start to lose a grip on your life because you go into justifications. You then want to you don't prioritize your own needs. You don't put yourself first. You don't focus on you. And sometimes you might even thrive on drama and conflict because that's all you've known. So unless you realize what your boundaries are, unless you understand what they are, then this is never going to work. It doesn't, do you know what? It doesn't even mean that you have to have narcissists in your life. It's just anyone, anywhere, work, friends, any capacity, partners, romantic partners, any capacity. If you're not putting yourself first, and it's not selfish to do that, you have to. In this life, you have to, because it's your life, it's no one else's. You have to put yourself first. And it's not selfish, it's not rude. It is something that is actually your birthright. You have to do that. It's about having open communication. That's the other thing. When you are able to communicate your needs, when you're able to talk to somebody about what it is that you want or what it is that you require, that's when it's healthy, right? Because you can communicate your needs. But when someone doesn't give you the opportunity to do so, when you don't feel confident to do that, that's when it becomes a problem. You start to overthink. You start to ruminate. You start, anxiety might creep up. You might have depression, like might come up. And these are all ways that stops you from functioning, right? You stop being able to function in a healthy way. Life, it becomes quite difficult, quite upsetting. I love that, Eldon. Thank you. Go outside and look at the sky. Howl at the moon. Get out in nature. Ground yourself. Yeah, that's it. These are all activities and things that you can do to help you because it is important. It's really important. Mr. Anderson says, I'd been absolutely irate if she'd put on 2 cats she took on with her in the shelter. Yeah, exactly. She didn't ask you. And not that she needed permission, but it would have been nice to be consulted, right? You know? Theo says, everything starts with us, not others. By respecting you is a beautiful start. That's a very true point. You do have to start with you. So it's about you showing how you want others to respect you, how you want others to treat you. It's about how you treat yourself first. You know, a lot of us, a lot of us wish that maybe we could move on and meet someone else, but are you doing the right things that respect yourself? Are you putting self-care in place? What are you doing that is looking after you? Do you love yourself? Do you care about yourself first? And again, that's all about boundaries. That's all about understanding yourself. If you're not doing that, if you don't understand you, then how do you expect another person to do that? How do you expect another person to be able to invite them into your world, into your life, for them to understand you if you don't get you, right? Ultimately, it does all start from you. That's exactly what I was saying, Bruno. I wonder if I can fall in love again. This time has to be rising in love. You've got to rise in love. You, of course, you're going to fall in love. Of course, you're going to find love, but you got to love you first. You've got to work on you. Hello, Ricardo. You've got to work on you first. This is about leveling up your mindset, not staying stuck, not staying in victim mentality, guys. Those of you those of you that are on my lives quite regularly, don't I always talk about this, leveling up your mindset and not staying in victim mentality. The last thing you need to be doing is sitting in victim mentality and asking, why me? Because it's you, because you, okay? And that's me not being rude to you guys. That's me like being like, how do I say it? Practical, honest. It happened to you for a reason. So what you got to do is you got to take the bull by the horns. Look at the situation and what can you learn from it? You have this opportunity, like a wonderful opportunity to be able to grow, okay? And to actually, you know what? Manifest the life of your dreams. You have an opportunity to do that. But first of all, it starts from you. You have also an opportunity to get to know you, to get to understand you, know who you are. When else did you get an opportunity like this in your life? I'm sure you probably didn't. And I know this person came along. Not that you hold on, not that you even had a choice, not that even you wanted to do this. But it's kind of like you're plunged into this situation. So what are you going to do? Take the opportunity. Do it. Okay? Do it. That's right, Mark. They will punish you by cheating on you, but but it's an opportunity for growth. You're not gonna stay in the relationship after that, of course. And I know it hurts, it burns. I know it burns, but your opportunity here is to see it for what it is. Like I said, who does that? Like I've always said this about the cheating, like who does that? We don't need we just need one other person. We don't need like two or three. But it's more about the other person, right? Cheating is more about the other person with their low self-esteem, their validation, all of those things. It's not about you. It's not that you're not enough. It's about that person that they don't see their own true value as enough and they don't communicate that. So ultimately, for sure, we're not going to stay in that dynamic. We are going to go because, like, I mean, that is like the ultimate betrayal, right? So it calls upon an opportunity to look at yourself and discover who you are. Okay. Work on that. Joker's Muppet Masterclass. Do you know what, guys? I love these handles of yours. Like, honestly, that's a really good one, Jokers. But I also like what you've written. Become the monster they tried to stop. The one that they try to take. They cannot take your life force energy. That is yours. And that is yours to keep, to protect. Okay. They want that. You see, when they are wanting the validation, when they are wanting your attention, it's your life force energy that they are wanting. Okay. So that you are absolutely right. Become that. That's what they want. They can't have that themselves. Become that. 499 says, I think a lot of narcissists have dual relationships. They always think I'm sorry, they always need a backup validation, scared you're going to leave. It's true, they always think that we are going to leave, that we're the ones that, because I think eventually they actually realize that, we're going to see through their BS, right? I know that wasn't very professional of me to say that, but they think that they're going to see through the facade. So, sorry, guys. Yeah, so we do those. We do, don't we? We do see through that facade. We do see through that fakeness because you can only do it to a certain point, right? You can't keep doing it. And if someone is not congruent, if someone's not real, if someone's not authentic, that was the word I was looking for. That's the word I was looking for. If someone's not authentic, they can only do that to a certain point in time. They can only be fake to a certain point in time because it just doesn't work that way. I don't know, like you can't keep lying. You can tell a couple of lies, but you can't keep going with the lie. The truth always comes out, my friends, doesn't it? You know that in life, truth always comes out. So that is why they want to take from you. Because you are a good person. You have a good energy about you. You're kind, you're compassionate, you're empathetic. These are all the things that they are not and that they cannot be. So you got to work on that. You got to build on that. Those are your resources. Those are your skills. This is something that you are born with. This is something that you have learned. So this is where you've got to build on that and not allow someone to keep taking from you. And you're going to meet. The sad thing is that you will meet other toxic individuals. You will meet toxic, narcissistic people in your life. There's so many of them out there. But it is up to you to be able to decipher who is one and who isn't, and to be able to protect yourself. But again, if you're not working on you, and you're not putting boundaries in place, you're not learning, for example, also what your triggers are. This is another thing, you know, then this person can have emotional control over you because if they know what your triggers are, they're going to be able to manipulate you into submission. So, all of this is important for you guys to work on, right? That's how it works. Eldon says, learn to love yourself or you only learn to fall for lust. Wow, that resonated. That rung true. You don't get to see what real love is. You just fall for lust. If you don't, that is so true. Lust is very different to love. Love is the highest form. What is it? The highest like emotion that you can feel. The love heals. Love is like the best feeling in the world, right? And lust is only temporary. It's very true. I love that. I'm going to read that out again. Learn to love yourself, or you only learn to fall for lust. Thank you, Eldon. Mirror Mirror says attention seeking empty heads for sure. Literally not grown up. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. These are people who are very immature emotionally. And where they don't have awareness, they think that you also don't have awareness. And that's why they try to draw you in to their mindset, into their way of thinking. It just doesn't work, does it? Because eventually you see through it and it doesn't make sense. Armor Armor says read more about Machiavelli. Yeah, this is it. This is it. Debo Smitter says, my narcissist ex showing off his new supply in social media and suddenly called me, but I avoided it and I'm fully no contact. Narcissists are crazy. Yes, good. Good you didn't answer that. Good you went no contact because obviously, obviously that phone call was to talk about the new supply. So yes, good that you were able to do that. sh- um, Joker's Muppet says, she left 2 days before Father's Day with unwritten cards and presents for me to find when they are left. Demons are demons. Yes, yes, absolutely. Eldon says there are only two emotions, love and fear. That's right. It's either one or the other, right? Hello, Daniel. Hope you're well. So going forward, okay, how do we shift from like because sometimes we can have expectations of people, right? We can also not in a toxic way, but we can also have, expectations of others, all right? And I feel like the way to stop that from happening or the way for us to not feel that about I'm not look I'm not talking about the narcissist, I'm just talking about us. Sometimes we can have expectations of others and I've been guilty of this, guys. I am no saint. I'm not. Like sometimes I have expectations and I've got to remind myself that people understand things in a different way. People, you're never going to be able to control someone. Not that I want to control someone. Everyone's got free will. Everyone has their own way of doing things. And I feel like if we learn, okay, and this is certain people, not everybody, if we learn to focus on appreciating someone for who they are, for how they are trying, and they're trying their best. And I think a lot of this is ego work because our ego, most of our egos, I'm not saying yours, I'm just saying most people out there, most people feel that others are out to get them or others are trying to be nasty. Sure, there are people like that, but not everyone is like that. I remember when I was younger, I was a lot more fiery, believe it or not. I wasn't as chilled as I am now. um, I remember like when I first started driving, I didn't have like I wouldn't call it road rage, but oh my God, I used to get so annoyed like when people used to cut me up or people had a faster car and this didn't look right or that, and I learned that, now When I'm in the car, I think to myself, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if that person's cut me up. They're obviously in a hurry. There's something going on. So what I'm trying to say is that people are not out to get you. It's about just trying to understand and appreciate another person. And what happens is this creates a more positive and accepting relationship dynamic with yourself. And I'm not saying necessarily like other people out there, but I'm just saying it creates a more accepting relationship with yourself. You don't feel so strung up or so irritated or annoyed. Like I said, people do make mistakes. People don't behave in ways that we want them to or we expect them to. People will be people and you're never going to understand them. Look, I've been doing this job for a while. I don't understand everything. And that's okay. You know what? Maybe we're not meant to. Maybe we're just meant to, maybe we're just meant to understand ourselves. And it's about how we then understand the other person, how we understand or how we relate to that person. And I feel like there's a lot of that at play here as well. It's about how we understand ourselves, how we present us, like how we respond. It's not about how we react, it's about how we respond. Eldon says it took a lot of work, didn't it, Anushka? Yeah, it does. It does take a lot of work. But it's about to understand that people are not out there to get you. Not everyone is out there to hurt you and get you. And the people that are, then you got boundaries, right? You put boundaries, you protect yourself. That's what you do. You don't leave yourself open. Okay. And also you use your intuition. And this is the thing, when you connect back to yourself, you're going to learn about yourself. You're going to learn to connect to your intuition. That is what is important. That is what is really crucial here, is for you to get to know you, understand when your intuition is telling you something, when your intuition is at play here. You know, this is how you level up. Okay, you don't stay stagnant, you don't stay in the same place. You move forward. It is important for you to move forward. It is important for you to see the signs, to be able to follow the breadcrumbs, to elevate. Because staying stuck, staying in the same place, wondering, wishing, you're in a lack mentality. So you're always feeling like you haven't got, or you don't feel abundant enough, or you don't feel deserving enough to have something. This is more about you knowing that actually you do deserve this and you will have this, but you have to believe in yourself. And that's the thing. You've got to start to believe in yourself and love yourself. That's when you can develop greater clarity, intuition, boundaries. Your life will become completely different. You'll think differently. You'll see things differently. It's also about taming the ego as well. Yeah, because your ego is very much there to try to protect you, but protect you from what? That's right, Eldon. Talk to your higher power whenever, whatever, whoever that is. Learn to trust yourselves. Learn to trust in yourselves. Get to know you. Understand you. Gain knowledge. Gain power. Understand your body. Understand your mind. Because when you get to that level, okay, you're going to vibrate differently. These people are not going to be in your life anymore, or they're not going to be around you, or you're not going to attract people like that. You're going to think differently. You're not going to want to be around people like this because you know that they're not going to bring anything to the table. They're not going to help you on your journey. So this is about getting stronger mentally, physically, and emotionally. Also, You'll have greater understanding of your triggers. If you're constantly working on yourself, you're going to know what triggers you. So no one else is ever going to be able to have that power over you to manipulate you. You're going to also learn how to read people, to read their facial expressions and body language. You're going to be able to understand and decipher certain people that are good for you, that are not good for you. And this goes also in a work setting as well. You're going to attract that role, that job that you want, not be stuck in these toxic workplaces. Believe me, I know it's challenging. Believe me, I know it's hard. I've been in those situations, working in mental health as well. Like, how bad is that? I know. And there is so many of them, not just in the UK, as I know they will be worldwide. But that's, again, that is all about power. That is all about that person wanting power. Daniel Sykes, thank you so much. Focus on your mental and physical health. I love that, Daniel. Thank you so much. Thank you. Hello, Phil Brad. You're right. Um, this is the fact. You've got to focus on your mental and physical health. This is what it means working on yourself. You got to stick to the plan, make a routine, stick to the plan. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I did it. I did it, and it's possible. There's many of us here who are on their way, who are doing this. And yeah, it is going to be challenging. There's going to be times where, you know what, y- your ego is going to try and sabotage it because you're doing something good for yourself. Your ego is going to try and say, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. You don't, like, you're tired, don't worry. Watch TV. What do you want to go to the gym for? Watch the TV. I've been there. I've been there. I know what it's like. But the thing is, you've got to push through it. You've got to push through this, because otherwise you're going to stay in the same place. You're never going to be able to move forward. When it's telling you to not read a certain thing, or not to listen, or to not engage in a certain activity, which is, is going to be good for you. Those are elements of self-sabotage, because it's something new, something that you haven't done. So it's going to feel strange. It's going to feel weird. You're not going to want to do it because you're tired. I understand, we're all tired. But when you do that, when you break through that mindset, you're going to feel amazing. Mr. Anderson, you're right. Knowledge is power. But this isn't knowledge about narcissists and trying to understand them. Stuff them. What you know already, you know already. This is about you. I'm talking about learning about you. Elevate your mind. Grow. It's out there. Everything that you need is out there already. But it's about you trying to access that. You trying to consume that knowledge. Bruno says, I daily look at planet Earth, picture the Milky Way. I know what you mean. I do that. So I look at the stars. It's amazing. That small dot, so much drama. No wonder aliens keep hidden. This is the thing. When you really, really think about it, we're part of something bigger, something more magical, something more amazing. Okay. What we are going through right now is just here, this bit, the narcissist, the toxicity, all of that is just here. It's very small, very minute. When you look up into the stars, you realize the vastness of it all. You realize, you know, how much more there is to life, how much more there is to this. So we are part of something bigger. And this is what I'm saying. When you learn this, when you understand this, you're going to think differently. You're going to be able to see things in a different light and be able to respond to them, or be able to react to them in a different way, in a way that is more congruent to you, that works for you, because you choose you. And that's ultimately the gift here. I know that you didn't want to go on this journey. I know you didn't even want to be in this relationship with this person. But lo and behold, they came into your life, and here we go. So this is your opportunity. Don't look at this in a lack mindset, thinking, why me? Why has this happened to me? Why do I have to go through it? Because you do. Because it is you. You were chosen. All right? You were chosen to go through this. So take the challenge, my friends. Take the challenge and work on you. Get to know yourself. Get to understand who you are. Okay. Read the books, access that information. All right. Go to the gym, work on yourself. If you don't like going to the gym, then go and do some sort of activity. You need to be moving your body. All right. This is very important and very healthy. Okay. If that means going for a walk, go for a walk. If it means going yoga, do yoga. Go for a run, go for a bike ride in nature. Maybe go to the woods, have a bike ride. But ultimately, you need to work your body. All right. That's what you need to be doing. And learning and growing emotionally as well and spiritually. Because once you understand your emotions, once you understand your triggers, you are there. Okay. No one else can ever control you emotionally. But that's about working that out. Maybe you need to work, I don't know, with a therapist or a counselor or a psychologist to help you understand that. Or maybe you need to journal. Journaling can also help. Journaling is a very powerful tool. I've also got the journal club, my friends. If you want to work on yourselves, if it is something that is of interest to you, join the journal club. It's a small monthly fee, honestly. And you'll get a journal prompt every single Monday. Okay. So it is a journey of self-discovery. And it doesn't need to be difficult. It doesn't need to be daunting. It can be something that's so much fun for you, something that, can help you focus on you and bring the energy back on you instead of you ruminating and thinking about them and thinking why this relationship didn't work out or why it had to be you. Because then again, you're stuck in lack mentality, victim mentality. And where does that get you? It doesn't make you feel good. If that thinking made you feel good, I'd say go for it. Keep doing it. But I know it doesn't. Does it? It doesn't make you feel good. So always keep going forward, my friends. Always, always keep going forward in whichever capacity that is, because it is your life. All right. You're not going to see today, the 22nd of October, 2024 again. That's it. It's over and done with. Okay. Tomorrow is another day. That is where you've got to keep going forward. All right. Life is fluid, it's always changing. So it's important for you to move forward. It's important for you to work on yourselves and get to know you. Okay. Okay, my friends. That is what I hope you take from this live stream today. I hope that I'm going to finish up here. I really hope that, talking about expectations, how people have expectations of you, how damaging that can be. All of this, remember, all of this mindset, when we have expectations of others, is ego, is all rooted in the ego. And as you can see, narcissistic individuals, when they think like that, when they are rooted in ego, look at their behaviors. Look at the way that they see life. Look at the way that they live their life. I mean, come on. Okay. And they're not happy individuals. You know they're not. They are so not happy, yet they want everyone to believe that they are because they're a big bunch of liars, because they're not, because they're too ashamed to be their real selves. So they've got to mirror someone else. They've got to pretend to be somebody else. Okay. That is all rooted in an ego mindset. This is where I'm asking you to transcend that, because also you can think like them, you can become not like them, but just they think you can think like them. So this is where you've got to step out of that. And this is why I was giving you these examples. You know, maybe your homework this week is for you to come up with a routine that you are going to stick with and that you can work on every single day. All right. Because it means that when you're working on you, remember you're creating new habits. That's all neural pathways. You're creating new neural pathways, which again is so important. The more of those positive ones that you create for you, the better it will be. The more that you'll be able to elevate you. So having expectations of others, sitting in that mindset, look where it got the narcissist. Nowhere. You run because you were like, nah, I'm out of it. I'm out of there. So this is about creating healthier dynamics, okay? Um, being able to spot what expectations are, setting boundaries, open communication. That is what is important. So, guys, thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you for joining me here tonight, me and Yang. And I hope this discussion has helped you to reflect on, you know, expectations in relationships, understanding toxicity, elevating your mindset. Um, I also just don't want you to forget that we've got the journal club and the mentorship program for those who want to dive deeper. I'm also available for one-to-one consultations if you need more personalized advice. We've got videos coming out all of this week, as usual. So I've got a new video coming out tomorrow. And next Tuesday, we've got another live. And I feel like that's going to be more about emotional manipulation and how to recognize it. Um, so do mark your calendars in for that one. So, guys, take care of yourselves. Get those, um, thanks, Yang. Thanks for putting that up. Get those routines done. Okay, because you need to be able to put routines and stick to them this week. Thank you, guys. Um, Sorry, I'm just reading the comments. Thank you so much, Joker's Muppet Masterclass. Big love to all of you guys, and thank you for being here. I know for a lot of you, it's really early. Guys, I will see you next Tuesday. Have a great week. Much love to you all. Take care. Bye.